Hey, Lucky, say hello to everyone. Oh man, it's a bit blustery today, I'll tell you that. So weekend recap, actually a week and a half recap. I got both winners in the golf 2 weekends ago, which was the Genesis and the Utah. That was at 66 to 1 and 250 to 1. Annoyingly, I wasn't on the double, even though I got on both singles at exactly the same time. You know, sometimes you just don't fancy it. Like, there was a double to be had, but I think it was only 2 from one tournament and 3 from the other, because it was a bit of early value when I got on Lee and Brennan. And some days I would just take that double. That particular time I didn't. The £2 each way double paid £33,000. So missed out on that one, but hey, it's always easy to remember the bets that won that you weren't on over the bets that lost that you weren't. I still had Lee and a bunch of other people like David Ford in some doubles as well as both of the singles, so I'm not going to be complaining too much about my bad luck there. This weekend just gone, the PGA and the DP World Tour had a week off, a little smattering on the Asian Tour. Tom McKibben won it, didn't see him as value anywhere. Peter Julian second, but like 7 shots, so not really a second. He was miles and miles away. But as it's been a full week since I've hit a winner, golf returns to its standard position of just feeling like it's ages between tournaments. At least from now, at the beginning of November, we do have a run of PGA and DP World Tour events. In the football, Haris Tabagovic, yeah, that's right, the Mönchengladbach striker, was playing against St. Pauli, made him value at 19.0 to get 2+ goals and value at 200.0 to get 3+ goals. Now he gets 2 in the first half. I did highlight it. Somebody asked if these were put up as tips at Bookie bashing. The answer is no. It's not possible to put these kind of exchange bets up as tips. There only would have been a few quid available to back at 200. Somebody probably managing the liability of the bet that they took elsewhere. And were we to put bets like this up on a tracker, one single person would come and eat up all the liquidity and nobody else would be able to get on them. So instead we just model the fair odds and we publish them live on a database for 2+ and 3+ for every player across Europe, and then we leave it for our members to explore that database and then pop over to the exchanges, and if you can find value or trade value, then you have yourself a bet. It's much easier to provide the service like that for these low liquidity exchange markets. I really wish we could provide a tracker. It just wouldn't work, which naturally brings us to Bournemouth versus Manchester City, which is a much more liquid game for us to find value on. Oh, Lucky, that is so bad. Forget about Rachel Reeves' budget. It is Erling Haaland that is the primary risk to all of the Betfred stores up and down the country being shut down. We had 3.36 goals in this match, 0.89 of them were going to Erling Haaland. And so if I'm Betfred, I'm not going any higher than 6 to 4 for Double Delight Hat-Trick Heaven. How have they gone 5 to 2? Why are they doing this week after week? When is this going to end? I keep thinking that I'm going to log on to find that Betfred's traders have learnt their lesson. Instead, I keep logging on to find that there's 128% equity on Erling Haaland. And so I had to go and max bet him. Come on, Lucky, come on. Come on, Lucky. Come on, Lucky. I know, she's your best friend. That's now the 50th time that Erling Haaland's been positive expectation on our trackers. Of those 50 times, he's been first goal scorer 8 times. He's had Double Delight 8 times and Hat-Trick Heaven a further 3 times. Meaning he's more likely to get a second goal when he gets his first than he is just to sit on the 1 goal in the match. At 5 to 2, the Double Delight was paid out at 5 to 1, and I might just have to ditch every other betting strategy that I'm on this year. I'd only bet on Erling Haaland if these odds are going to continue to be available. I managed to max bet Haaland. I got on him myself, and quite a few people that I happen to know might just have got on him as well, which brought me into an interesting interaction. Winston Funtime asks, do those at Bookie Bashing Towers agree that shop bettors should have no concern about getting restricted or getting their winnings withheld? Seemed like a loaded question, but let's take the second part first. In the tens of thousands of shop bets that I've had winnings withheld 7 times. All 7 of those the bookmaker claimed a palp. I don't bet on palpable errors, and so I disagreed. I took the bookmaker to court on all 7 occasions and got paid out on 6. The one I didn't get paid out on, which concerned whether William Hill should have known if Paris Saint-Germain were playing in the Champions League final that weekend or not, the judge sided with the bookmaker, whereas a few other syndicates took William Hill to court for exactly the same bet, and they did get paid out. In terms of being banned from the shops, it's a common argument levied against me that I can't be a winning bettor, because if I was, I would have been banned a long time ago. I hope the Golf Doubles series goes some way to show that it is me placing this bet. I can only speak from experience at the number of people using my tools and the number of people in my forums that have told me they have been banned is exactly 0. My opinion is that they are targeting arbitrage players 99% of the time. I have known people to get banned for some funky stuff. Someone I know went into the same shop every day to exploit some value they had found on virtual racing. This isn't the virtual doubles. This is slightly different. It was a lot more than that. We don't have them up on the site at Bookie Bashing because they were eventually found and they were eventually handed a letter saying that they couldn't go back into Betfred. That wasn't something that we have at bookiebashing.net. Perhaps it was a bit heavy-handed and a warning would have worked first. The retort was I must be an outlier and it can't be the experience of the majority of Bookie Bashing members. I haven't had feedback from a single member at Bookie Bashing in the decade that we've been doing this that said I walked in, placed a bet using your tools and the bookmaker banned me from coming back. They finally signed off asking me to go and watch the Nick Goff video where he said he'd been banned. Look, I don't know why Nick Goff got banned. I've met Nick. I like Nick. I sat on a paddle spot bash with Nick. It might not be too much of a stretch of the imagination to think that some traders might not want to take football bets from the ex-head of football at Coral. So whether you find this implausible or not, I can only share the reality that I see in here, which is that I continue to be laid bets. Doubters will procrastinate, winners tend to take action. The only thing that I worry about is if Fred continues to price up Haaland over 2-1, I'm not going to be able to help myself, and it's likely to be me that's bankrupting him rather than Rachel Reeves.